Hello everyone, this is Good Sam. I thought I'd post a little video about my transmission repair. As some of y'all know, I blew fifth gear up in the Hillbilly SUV the other day, and I'm just now getting, actually I say the other day, it's been a month or so, but I'm just now getting around to making the repair. I've had the transmission out for a few weeks now, and here is the parts transmission I purchased. And here's the original. I probably could have bought the individual gears and such, but I got the parts transmission for $75, and it had pretty much everything I needed. And to be honest, the parts are probably better than the originals anyway. So, if you're going to work on a T5, they're actually not bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. But what you'll want to do, and I'm sure there's other videos out there that say this better, but if you can see right here, there is a little roll pin, or spring pin as some people call them. You want to drive that out with a punch. It will fall out kind of underneath here. This thing pulls off. There's a little spring and a ball for the detent, for the shift locations. You want to save those, make sure you don't lose them. These bolts around the outside here come off, and the whole tail shaft slides off. Then you'll be left with something that looks like this. At that point, you want to pull these bolts off around the top. They come out pretty easy, except for this one here. You want to be aware that a couple of these are shoulder bolts, so you want to just kind of make note of where you lay those, because they won't fit in the other holes. Once you've done that, this piece comes off. You have to wiggle it a little bit because of the shift forks. Let's set that aside. Then you have this, and with the noise this thing made when it let go, I expected massive carnage, and I was rather surprised. The main part of the gearbox, your first through fourth and reverse, are all in here, and none of that was damaged. I've looked at all the gears carefully. I couldn't find a single, so much as a tooth was chipped. However, fifth gear, which is what let go, fortunately was back here in the tail shaft by itself. And so pieces went everywhere, but they couldn't get into the other gears, so they survived. Ironically enough, the yoke on my drive shaft, I had it balanced. And when I was taking it over to, or had it actually cut down a little bit and balanced, and while I had it out, handling it, I noticed there are these little nicks all around the end of it up here that was inside. And after a day or two, it dawned on me that it wasn't from me, hauling the thing around in my truck for a day or two before I actually got over there. It was from the little pieces of gear teeth that were rattling around in here as I was driving it home. So the little bit of sandpaper will clean that up. It's polishing cloth. If you ever get one of these, and a lot of people are nervous about running a 4-cylinder T5, the LoPo 30250 you're not got too much to worry about if you're in stock form. If you're building a monster, you probably don't want a T5 anyway. But if for some reason you want to change the input shaft, or you find a really good deal on a 6-cylinder or something or one of the 95 and up models where the input shaft is longer, they're easy to change. I thought it was connected and the whole shaft had to come out, but upon disassembly I discovered something: the process of changing the input bearing. If you see this little cutout right here, it's a little half moon cutout. It's a little hard to see on the video. That actually is where this input shaft ends, is right here. You turn that cutout around to where it matches the bottom gear there. Just give a little pressure. Let me just go ahead and pull that retainer off. Throw some tools flying across the shop here. Let me find that. There we go. And as you see, I dropped all the needle bearings down in the bottom of the transmission. I didn't do this a while ago when I did it the first time, but I thought I would make a video for y'all. No good deed goes unpunished. The new one, which you don't want to drop all the parts out of, As you can see, I have greased it so they stay in place. Also, you want to be careful, if you can see this little guy right here, there's one of those. And I'm not sure, I think it looks like there's a washer of some sort behind it. Here's what that looks like. You want to make sure you keep a hold of that, maybe put a light film of oil on it when you put it back together, just for some lubrication on startup. And of course, assembly is in reverse order. You may want to take a rubber mallet and kind of peck the thing into place to make sure it's fully seated before you put the retainer on. But it's just that simple. The fifth gear driven gear here, if you can see, has got a snap ring on it. You can see the little gap there. And to remove the lower gear, there's also another snap ring. This thing was on here, and there's a spring pin through it that holds that, and that's what shifts fifth gear in and out. So that's about all there is to this overhaul. Of course, if you disassemble one further, you've got a bit more complicated with all the lock rings and the friction discs and such in here. But just for a quick redneck repair, it's not bad.